Hey everyone, Lucas here. If you've been enjoying Glimpse, make sure to follow our Instagram or TikTok page at Anathon Media for more Alpha World related content and stories. And help us spread the word about Glimpse. The more publicity, the more likely it is for us to have a season 2 in the future. One thing to note before we jump into episode 4. This is the last episode of the year, and episode 5 will be released on January 7th. However, we will have another discussion podcast episode in December, which covers episodes 3 and 4. So if you have any questions of anything that has happened in the story or world so far, then make sure to ask and we can address it during the discussion. You can DM us your questions on any of our social media. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. Let's jump right into episode 4. Anathon Media presents Glimpse, Episode 4, Beta World. Previously on Glimpse.
There's a new drug circulating around, and people have started calling it Glimpse.
What the hell did you give me, Jake?
Any reflective surface becomes a window to see alternate realities.
Is it possible that Glimpse does more than just let you see the alternate reality?
Isaac is going to attempt to step through the mirror.
The house was empty. In fact, the whole neighborhood seems empty. I want to go back.
Sounds like my sort of adventure.
Then we meet back here at 9 tomorrow?
9 tomorrow.
Alternate universe, Isaac! This is unreal!
Guys, look outside. I don't see any storm clouds. It looks like the sun is already going down.
At 9 a.m.? We can't give up now. I only had enough glimpse to get us here and back.
None of the battery-powered electronics around the house work either, suggesting maybe this place was hit by an EM pulse.
Look at the houses around us. Every single one has had their front window smashed in.
How far from the house do you want to walk?
I want to go downtown.
Downtown?
We're close to the Scioto River. The station should be near Discovery Bridge.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Hey, guys, look!
Someone is still alive here?
What are you guys doing out here at dark? Are you morons? We need to get back to my place.
We're in a load of shit now.
Yeah, a load of shit.
The unknown is terrifying. Whether it be the uncertainty of your future, a new relationship, a monster in the darkness, or an alternate reality to explore. I hate the unknown. It gives me anxiety, which is why I've spent so much time planning every detail about my life. I enjoy being an unknown to others. That's why I dress up as a goth and stay quiet at school. I get to control my narrative and live in a shroud of mystery. I kind of enjoy the rumors I hear about me because they're all different and nobody really knows anything. If I graduate next year, I'll be off to college to work towards a degree in zoology. I love animals. I've studied them my whole life, listened to their sounds, studied their anatomy. That's why I'm afraid. Because what I've learned about this world, with all I've seen and heard, it's still a giant question mark. It's unknown. And although it's scary, the irony is that the more we learn, the more terrifying this world becomes. Perhaps ignorance is bliss after all. According to Isaac, our group was nearing the police station. I had never entered the city from that direction before, so the area was unfamiliar, but I trusted his knowledge. Isaac and I didn't belong in the group. I knew that, though I'm not sure he did. He and I were different than the others. They took drugs to trip for the hell of it. Isaac and I, we wanted to experience something more. We were seeking understanding, truth, a different viewpoint. He's also cuter than the other guys. I would have liked to take him on a date if he wasn't so hung up on Cammy. I wouldn't normally confess that, but with the likelihood that we won't make it back, writing it down doesn't seem too intimidating. The unearthly sound that had surrounded us tonight in the streets sent shivers down my spine. This screech wasn't something you'd hear on our world from any creature. It sounded like something you'd hear from the depths of hell. And it was almost as though you could feel the vibration of the sound bathe you in fear. And then Travis showed up, a gorgeous man dressed in army fatigues, a black beanie, and some sort of automatic rifle. I'm sure Jake would know what kind of weapon it was, but that's outside of my knowledge. Travis waved us down and brought us to where he stayed, a small church elegantly constructed with white bricks. Anytime someone tried to speak, he shushed us until we were inside staring at a large wooden door. It was an inch thick at least, and when he opened it, I could see the steps descending into a basement. By the expression on his face, I'm sure Felix wanted to make a joke about a church being our salvation, but to my surprise, he kept his mouth shut. Travis shut the door behind us, bathing us in darkness, and we used a handrail to reach the bottom. I could hear several latches being secured behind us, and then Travis followed. The basement was damp and had a musky smell, and I smacked into someone the moment my feet hit the concrete floor.
Ooh!
Sorry.
1 second. Shit, it's out of fluid already? I've barely used this thing.
We could just use our flashlights.
You have working flashlights? Holy shit.
I was gonna ask earlier, but you kept shushing us.
Shine your light over here. I have another lighter. Well, actually I have a few hundred, but I can light some candles to save your batteries. So where the hell did you get a working flashlight? I haven't seen one in years.
It's a long story.
Here, take this candle and light the others around the room.
The candles weren't bright, but they did give off enough light for our eyes to adjust, and Felix could turn off his flashlight. We were in a cellar of sorts, used for holding pews, chairs, and the like. Against the far stone wall, I could make out a wine rack. I suppose the church used real wine for their communions. Travis grabbed chairs and dragged them over for us to sit. He had made his bed from a pew against the wall from the stairs. We took off our backpacks and sat. Travis removed the gun strap from around his neck and set it at his side.
We have yet to introduce ourselves. I'm Isaac. That's Felix, Jake, Sam, Camille, and Ashton.
And I'm Travis. It's so nice to meet you guys. I haven't seen another person in... well, honestly, I don't know how long.
This is where you live?
It's safer than a house, but you should know that.
See, we don't. What was that horrible sound outside? We aren't from around here.
You're telling me that there's a place that hasn't been affected by all this shit? Why the hell would you come here then?
We wanted to see what happened.
What the fuck are you talking about? How could you not know?
Like Isaac said, we
aren't
aren't
from around here. I got that much. Well, you need to go back to wherever you're from and get the hell out of here and take me with you.
Tell us what's going on. What happened? What was that sound?
First, I want to know where you're from.
Canada?
Everyone turned to look at Felix. Jake's glare seemed to have its effect, and Felix didn't say anything more.
Don't bullshit me.
Essex, near Detroit.
You're telling me that none of this shit happened in Canada? I don't believe that for a second.
Just tell him the truth, Isaac. It can't be any stranger than what's happening here.
I wouldn't suggest that.
Look, you would all be dead if it wasn't for me bringing you here, and I can just as well throw your asses out.
Alright then. We're from a parallel universe where none of this, whatever this is, has happened.
Because that sounds completely more plausible than you being from Canada.
I know it sounds insane, but that's the truth, Travis. We came here through a portal of sorts. We have no idea what's happening. Travis contemplated the information. Nobody spoke. Finally, he looked at me.
You're really not shitting me, are you?
No, I promise. This is all new to us. We saw that something happened to this world, and we wanted to learn more. We didn't know about the danger.
Well, if what you say is true, then you chose the worst place to explore. It's a living nightmare. There are very few people left, and those who remain have all lost their minds.
Including you?
I'd like to think that I'm the only sane person left, though I guess someone who's insane wouldn't know it, would they?
Okay then, let's start at the beginning. Where were you when all this began?
I haven't thought about that day for a long time. I was at my cabin near the Ohio-Michigan border. Every summer, I take a break from society, and I head up north for some hunting and fishing with my younger brother Nick. We only take a small amount of gear, and my phone, in case of an emergency, though I generally leave it off unless it's needed. We hunt for our food, make our own fires from scratch, collect our own water. It's normally a challenging but fun game of survival.
So what happened?
I was arriving at my cabin later than planned that night. Nick was supposed to join me the next morning. I had to finish up some last-minute things for work before bailing for the next month. I had just arrived, and that's when it started.
I'm still perplexed that we haven't heard any reports from NOAA, NASA, or the government about this.
I agree, especially since this is an X-class event. Europe received a majority of the radiation, shutting down much of their communications and power. There's no telling yet what effects this will have on the Earth's magnetic field, or the storms we will see.
Well, what should Americans be expecting at this time?
That's iffy, for even though the northwest hemisphere was an indirect line of the solar flare, there still could be side effects, though I'm unable to comment on such things, for it's not my expertise. What we need is someone who has been monitoring this event to speak to the public.
Oh, I totally agree with you. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight and giving us your insight. Enigmites, you've just heard from Dr. Capaldi, and up next on Enigma Radio, you will hear...
Solar flares, huh? Looks like I picked the perfect time to get away. Home away from home.
You there?
I just pulled up. Still planning on arriving tomorrow morning?
Depends on the girlfriend.
She knows how important this is, right?
Oh, she knows. She just doesn't like it. She even begged to come with.
Don't tell me
Obviously,
you...
I told her no, but I have a feeling that...
Nick? Hello? Shit! The phone's dead? How the hell? It was fully charged! Oh my god. I'll be honest, I didn't make the connection to the event and my phone's loss of power until a long time later. And I quickly forgot about the phone when I looked up. My cabin is in a clearing, so I could see the sky. And as I watched, an intense green and blue aurora borealis formed. I had seen photos of the northern lights, but I had never seen them in person. And then I heard them. The most terrifying sound I have ever heard filled the forest in all directions. You heard it outside the church. It felt like the sound passed through my body and my blood instantly chilled. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I panicked. I got back in my truck and I tried to start it, but the engine wouldn't turn over. After a few attempts, I ran for the cabin and I hid in the cellar. I didn't even think to grab the hunting rifle in the back of my truck, though it wouldn't have done me any good anyway.
How long did you stay in there?
I don't know. A couple of days, I think. You have to understand, the sound broke me, and I felt paralyzed in that darkness. Nothing ever attacked the cabin, and I only left when I realized I was getting weak from hunger. Thankfully, I was able to trap a couple rabbits and cook them, and I got my water from a small stream behind the cabin. I lived in that cellar for a month, and every night I would hear those screeches all over again.
Have you seen what causes the sound?
Not at that point. At the time, I didn't even know the sound was caused by living creatures. Or maybe they're monsters. All I knew was that the world had broken. I don't know how I knew. I just did. Maybe I knew because Nick never arrived. Or maybe because my new truck had completely died.
That's an interesting thought. Your truck dying. When we first arrived here, I mentioned the possibility of the city being hit by an EMP. But the more I think about it, I'm not sure that could be it. I studied this type of weapon a while ago for a story I've been writing. There's a lot of debate on the topic, but at least on our world, when the tests were done, trucks that were turned off didn't get affected by the electromagnetic field.
This isn't our world, though. We don't know how different things could be here, whether it be the design of electronics or advanced EMPs that we've never seen on our world.
Touché.
When did you leave the cabin to return to the city?
I don't know, but I'm guessing it was maybe about a month before I found the courage to leave. I had to return on foot, and finding places to hide at night was difficult at times. When I reached Toledo, I couldn't find a single person, though I found dried blood here and there where people had been at one point. It was as though everyone had vanished. There were a lot of car wrecks and damaged buildings. None of the vehicles would start. I took a backpack from an Urban Outfitters and loaded it with canned food. I also snagged myself a bicycle to make the trip faster. I rode 140 miles, passing through empty town after empty town. The world had vanished.
I can't even imagine.
The Manhattan event doesn't even come close to this.
The Manhattan event? What's that?
Back on our world, the entire population of Manhattan Island vanished overnight.
Though there weren't monsters that came out of it, or a screech.
When did you find out what was making the sounds at night?
When I got back to Columbus, that was when I got some answers. Come on, Travis. Just a little bit more. You can do it. Almost home. Holy shit. Am I hallucinating? I'm hallucinating. But I wasn't hallucinating. In the distance, heading down Highway 315 toward me, was a green military APC. You know, one of those things that carry men inside and a machine gun on top. As it got closer, I could see a man in army fatigues behind the gun, and another in the driver's seat.
Stay where you are and don't move.
Holy shit, another survivor.
Be careful, Sergeant. It could be a trap.
Shut the hell up, Corporal. I'm Sergeant Casey, and you are?
My name is Travis, sir. Are you... real?
Am I real? What kind of question is that?
I haven't seen another person in... well, I'm not really sure how long it's been.
Where are you coming from?
North of Toledo. I've been at my cabin for the past month.
Shit. You have no idea what happened, do you?
No, sir.
Are you at least aware of the Banshees?
Banshees?
My God, it's a wonder you're still alive. There's a lot to catch you up on. Why don't you come back with us to our base, and we can get you a warm meal and bring you up to speed. And you could use a shower from the smell of you.
No, thank you. I appreciate the thought, but I need to get home and look for my brother.
We've been searching the streets of Columbus for weeks. Any remaining survivors are at Fort Jefferson, a little north of here. There's nobody remaining in the city. Nobody alive, at least.
Do you have anyone named Nick Parker there?
Corporal Davies, do you know if we took in a man by the name of Nick Parker?
No, sir. I had that Indian woman do intake, so I don't know any of the people who have come in recently.
It will be dark soon. Your best option at the moment is to come with us. We can see if your brother's there. If he's not, it's safe to say he didn't make it. Either way, you need to know what you're up against before wandering off to your death.
That's... fair.
Then let's get going. Being out after dusk is a death sentence.
And that's what we did. They took me to Fort Jefferson. They had running water and electricity in the main building, and fresh food. But my brother wasn't with them. After I got cleaned up and fed, they filled in the details. They don't know why it happened, but the night I got to my cabin, something in our atmosphere shifted, and most of the world's population, or at least what they could determine, dropped dead in a single moment. Anything with electronic circuits stopped working too. They explained that their main command building of Fort Jefferson maintained power and working technology only because newer military bases were built to be what they called a Faraday cage? Anything and anyone inside was safe the night the world died. But anyone outside or in their homes, they weren't protected. Before the event, Fort Jefferson had around 400 men, women, and children. More than 2/3 of them died that night, and many others went AWOL right after. By the time I arrived, only 50 soldiers remained at the base, and they had found 33 survivors in the surrounding area. I remember sitting in an uncomfortable chair in a meeting room as the sergeant went over the details they had. He held nothing back, and as his words droned on, I couldn't stop thinking about my brother. However, when he started talking about the Banshees, every other thought left my head.
As if this whole thing wasn't bad enough, we have the Banshees to contend with. They screech every night, signaling that they're on the hunt. At least that's how I interpret it.
He walked over to a projector and turned it on, and after it warmed up, I could see a night vision photograph with a black shadow in the center. I don't know how to describe it since it wasn't the best photo, but this thing had a thin body and 4 long legs.
They seem to only come out at night, and we haven't been able to locate where they go during the day. We haven't been able to get a good look at them or get any good photos either. Their bodies are blacker than midnight and blend into the darkness. They seem impervious to bullets and drag away their victims. We suspect they took all the bodies after the event.
Bullets don't hurt them?
After the event, my squadron and I went to search for survivors, not knowing the severity of the threat. We got caught outside the base after sunset, and the Banshee in the photo attacked Lieutenant Riggs. I unloaded an entire clip from my M4, and all it did was push it back, but not before it stung Lieutenant Riggs, sending him into a series of hallucinations that lasted over a week.
How did you guys get away?
That's still a mystery. Corporal Davies lit a flare so we could see better, and the Banshee took off. They don't show up in our night vision technology, and they don't give off any heat signatures. They've avoided attacking the base thus far, but we see them lurking every night. Our fences are electrified, so maybe that's why they don't engage, but even after a month of attempting to figure this shit out, we still don't have answers. There are other bases around the country still active that are in the same situation we are. We share info over the radio, but as of yet, nobody's figured out how to fight these things, or what caused the mass slaughter of our planet. We've received reports that this occurred all over the world, and these creatures are everywhere. None of the weapons we have seem to do any damage, as though they're invincible. Sometimes it feels like we're in hell.
Huh. Well, maybe we are. I stayed on the base for several months and joined different teams on search and rescue missions in the bigger cities around Ohio. In that time, no new information came to light as to how these monsters could be killed. Eventually, I had had enough and slipped away during one of our searches. I came back here, found this place, and I've been living here ever since. I hear the creatures every night, but they haven't found my hideout.
How do you get food? I'm sure all the canned stuff is expired by now.
Well, without the presence of humans, there's a lot more wildlife that wander the city. It's not that hard to find something to kill and eat. I'm a hunter by nature.
I looked over at Jake, whose leg bounced up and down. I hadn't noticed when he grabbed his pistol, but it rested on the bouncing leg, his hand clutched tight around the handle. I could see genuine fear on his face. I don't blame him, I felt it too. I know we all did. We had stepped from our world, a world of mystery and unexplained tragedy, into a world that resembled the afterlife, and not the heavenly kind.
How the fuck are you guys so calm? This is so messed up. We are going to die here.
No, I wouldn't worry. This place is safe, or at least safer than anywhere else you could be right now. Once the night cycle finishes, we are free to leave and you can take me back to your world.
But how long is this night going to last?
That's a good point. How long are the days and nights here?
I can't tell you exactly since I don't have a working clock, but if I were to guess, maybe 3 days?
3 days? What the hell?
That's insane.
Let me get this straight. Your nights are 3 days long?
Like I said, I'm just estimating. I don't know the exact length. It didn't used to be like this, but as time continues to pass, the days and nights get longer.
The planet's rotation is slowing. But why?
Hell if I know. But that's how it is. You don't need to worry about food if that's your concern. We may have to ration a bit, but I should have enough food for us until daylight.
You think I'm worried about food? I'm worried about being killed by those things outside.
Like I said, you're safe in here. I've been living here for almost 3 years without an issue.
Do you think they can hear us?
There's no way. I've played guitar and sang down here without a problem.
You just had to say that, didn't you?
We waited in silence for several minutes, each one of us barely breathing. And then we heard another screech before a loud thump against the large door at the top of the stairs.
Damn it. They know we're here.
That's impossible.
Apparently not.
Do you think they'll be able to get through that door?
They have 3 days to try, remember? And if bullets don't hurt them, I can't imagine they'll be faced by a solid door. Eventually, that thing will give.
I don't understand it. How the hell did they find us?
We could use these pews to barricade the door.
That would only last so long.
It sounds like there's a lot of them up there now.
Shit.
Everyone was standing and staring at the steps leading to the floor above. From what I had seen, the door was thick. It was unlikely these things could break through it. Or so I thought. But with each collision of their bodies against the wood, we could hear a slight cracking sound.
Oh my god. We're gonna die.
It took a moment before Travis spun around and ran over to the wine rack. He yanked on it and pulled it away from the wall, sending wine bottles crashing to the floor. Hidden behind the wine rack was the opening to a narrow tunnel. At least that's what it seemed. The hole was pitch black. Even though he said nothing more about how it came to be, I suspected Travis had broken through the stone and created it himself for a getaway for this very purpose.
We can get out this way, through the storm drain.
Are you kidding me? There could be more of them in there.
Jake, I know you're scared, but there's no other option right now. If we stay here, they'll make it through. It's only a matter of time. I'd rather take my chances in there.
Isaac grabbed his backpack and removed his flashlight. Everyone followed suit except Jake. He continued tapping the gun against his leg and stared at the ground as if he was trying to come up with a new plan. Travis walked back over to the steps and looked up at the door, which I could see was splintering, little by little, with every collision.
I thought that door could fend them off if it came to this. I didn't think to make it better.
This is your fault. You brought us here to this death trap. We would have been better finding our own place to hide out, or trying to get back to my house.
Jake, you know that's bull. We would have been sitting ducks. At least we now know what's happening.
Why the hell did we even come here? Why did you vote for us to come here?
You voted to come here too.
And you, why did you stay neutral? You could have changed everything.
I was the one that broke the tie. If anything, this is my fault.
It's time to move.
No, you're staying here to give us time to escape. This is your world, not ours. We do not belong here.
We watched as Jake raised his gun and pointed it at Travis. Travis's gun was several steps away and he didn't have time to move before Jake changed his aim and the gun bucked in his hand.
Ah! Holy shit, Jake! What the fuck is wrong with you?
You stupid motherfucker!
It's just his leg. If we leave him here, they'll be distracted with him and give us time to get away.
I ran over to Travis and reached into my backpack to grab the medkit Jake had supplied us with. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jake back up toward the tunnel. He fumbled through his backpack and removed his flashlight.
If you want to die here, then fuck all of you. Remember what I said before. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, and if it means killing someone so you can live, then so be it. I won't die here. Y'all can do whatever you want.
Jake vanished into the tunnel, and I wrapped gauze around Travis's leg to apply pressure. I knew he needed to get that bullet removed and get stitches, but that would have to wait.
I knew Jake was a psycho, but I didn't expect something like this. He's losing it.
Your friend is an asshole, but he's not wrong. You need to go.
No, we're getting you to safety. Felix, come help me.
Why me?
Because under all that lard, you have more muscle than these twigs. We need to get Travis out of here, and I'm the only one here that knows first aid. Isaac, you and Sam get Camille and run on ahead. Felix, Travis, and I will follow behind.
There ain't no way I'm leaving my girl.
You're not leaving her. They'll just be ahead of us. She'll be safe with them, but you guys need to go.
But...
I watched a look of confusion and uncertainty flash across Felix's face, but Isaac sprang into action. He grabbed Camille by the hand and pulled her forward.
Come on, they'll meet up with us. We need to get away from here. We can use the radios if we need to.
Wait, when you go, make sure to turn right once you get into the drain. Follow the pipe until you get to the split, and then go left. Then right at the next split, and then right at the final. It will take you to the river. I have a boat there. It doesn't run, but it gets us out into the water. The Banshees can't swim.
Right, left, right, right. Got it.
But I don't want to leave Felix.
Good lord, come on!
Ow!
Isaac yanked Camille, nearly knocking her off her feet, but somehow that did the trick. Her, Isaac, and Sam ran for the hole in the wall, their flashlights clutched tight in their hands.
You better join us, Felix!
They disappeared into the darkness. At Travis's request, I grabbed his backpack and gun and gave it to him. Felix and I struggled to help Travis up, but we managed to get him to his feet. Felix supported the injured side, taking most of the burden off me, and we made it to the storm drain.
Try to pull the wine rack back over the hole if you can. It could slow them.
I did the best I could, and even at such an awkward angle, I was able to get it mostly closed. And I hoped, beyond all hope, that the Banshees wouldn't be able to follow.
Glimpse. Written, directed, and edited by Lucas Heath. Starring Colin Norton Zyman as Isaac, Dennis Wyatt as Sam, Ron Dautel as Jake, Dana Gilbertson as Camille, Max Cadell as Felix, Molly Dempsey as Ashton, Lucas Heath as Travis, Ezekiel Ashamu as Nick, Ryan Maddox as Sergeant Casey, and Luke Langfeld as Corporal Davies. Special music this episode includes The Mist by Gavin Luke, Beyond the Badlands and Particle Emission by Silver Maple, Elevated Consciousness by Amaranth Cove, and Infiltrator by Christopher Mo Ditlevson. If you're enjoying this podcast, please remember to rate and review, and drop us a follow to get updates on new episodes. More content can be found at our Anathon Media Instagram and TikTok pages.